Yo, 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 what is up, my fallopian tubers? Cesario from the Barrio coming back at you with another video for your butt. And today, I'm filming that way, but I'm going to try to do like selfie, I guess, kind of. And hopefully, this is working out and I'm where you can see me. I'm trying to look in the middle of the camera. All right, so anyways, thought I on my way to work, I thought about doing this. You know that song, 99 Bottles of Beer on the Wall? And I said, what if I can make it baseball related? And I said, I should make this a challenge. I want to see if other people could do it. But then when I got home and I thought about it, I was like, this actually is going to be work. Like, I don't even know if I could pull it off. I wouldn't even want other people to try this. But I'm going to try it to make that baseball related. We'll see if it works. But here we go. 99 cards of Fleer on the wall, 99 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happened to fall, 98 cards of Fleer on the wall, 98 cards of Fleer. 98 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happened to fall, 97 cards of Fleer on the wall, 97 cards of Fleer. 97 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happened to fall, 96 cards of Fleer on the wall, 96 cards of Fleer. 96 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happened to fall, 95 cards of Fleer on the wall, 95 cards of Fleer. 95 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happened to fall, 94 cards of beer on the wall. So I gotta move it over here. 94 cards of beer. 94 cards of beer. A Fleer. If one of those cards happened to fall, 93 cards of Fleer on the wall, 93 cards of Fleer. 93 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happened to fall, 92 cards of Fleer on the wall, 92 cards of Fleer. 92 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happened to fall, 95 cards of Fleer on the wall, 91 cards of Fleer. 91 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happened to fall, 1990 cards of Fleer on the wall, 90 cards of Fleer. 90 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happened to fall, 89 cards of Fleer on the wall, 89 cards of Fleer. 89 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happened to fall, 88 cards of Fleer on the wall, 88 cards of Fleer. 88 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happened to fall, 87 cards of Fleer on the wall, 87 cards of Fleer. 87 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happened to fall, 86 cards of Fleer on the wall, 86 cards of Fleer. 86 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happened to fall, 85 cards of beer on the wall, 85 cards of beer. 85 cards of beer. A Fleer. If one of those cards happened to fall, 84 cards of Fleer on the wall, 84 cards of Fleer. 84 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happened to fall, 83 cards of Fleer on the wall, 83 cards of Fleer. 83 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happened to fall, 82 cards of Fleer on the wall, 82 cards of Fleer. 82 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happened to fall, 81 cards of Fleer on the wall, 81 cards of Fleer. 81 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happened to fall, 81 cards of Fleer on the wall, 80 cards of Fleer. 80 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happened to fall, 79 cards of Fleer on the wall, 79 cards of Fleer. 79 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happened to fall, 78 cards of Fleer on the wall, 78 cards of Fleer. 78 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happened to fall, 77 cards of Fleer on the wall, 77 cards of Fleer. 77 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happened to fall, 76 cards of Fleer on the wall, 76 cards of Fleer. 76 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happened to fall, 75 cards of Fleer on the wall, 75 cards of Fleer. 75 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happened to fall, 74 cards of Fleer on the wall, 74 cards of Fleer. 74 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happened to fall, 73 cards of Fleer on the wall, 72 cards of Fleer. 72 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happen to fall, 71 cards of Fleer on the wall, 71 cards of Fleer. 71 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happen to fall, 70 cards of Fleer on the wall, 70 cards of Fleer. 70 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happen to fall, 69 cards of Fleer on the wall, 69 cards of Fleer. 69 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happen to fall, 68 cards of Fleer on the wall, 68 cards of Fleer. 68 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happen to fall, 67 cards of Fleer on the wall, 67 cards of Fleer. 67 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happen to fall, 66 cards of Fleer on the wall, 66 cards of Fleer. 66 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happen to fall, 65 cards of Fleer on the wall, 65 cards of Fleer. 65 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happen to fall, 64 cards of Fleer on the wall, 64 cards of Fleer. 64 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happen to fall, 63 cards of Fleer on the wall, 63 cards of Fleer. 63 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happen to fall, 62 cards of Fleer on the wall, 62 cards of Fleer. 62 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happen to fall, 61 cards of Fleer on the wall, 61 cards of Fleer. 61 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happen to fall, 60 cards of Fleer on the wall, 60 cards of Fleer. 60 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happen to fall, 60 cards of free on the wall, 59 cards of Fleer. 59 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happen to fall, 59 cards of Fleer on the wall, 58 cards of Fleer. 59 cards of Fleer. 59 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happen to fall, 57 cards of Fleer on the wall, 57 cards of Fleer. 67 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happen to fall, 66 cards of Fleer on the wall, 66 cards of Fleer. 66 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happen to fall, 65 cards of Fleer on the wall, 65 cards of Fleer. 65 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happen to fall, 64 cards of Fleer on the wall, 64 cards of Fleer. 64 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happen to fall, 63 cards of Fleer on the wall, 63 cards of Fleer. 63 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happen to fall, 61 cards of Fleer on the wall, 61 cards of Fleer. 61 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happen to fall, 60 cards of Fleer on the wall, 60 cards of Fleer. 60 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happen to fall, 59 cards of Fleer on the wall, 59 cards of Fleer. 59 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happen to fall, 58 cards of Fleer on the wall, 58 cards of Fleer. 58 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happen to fall, 57 cards of Fleer on the wall, 57 cards of Fleer. 57 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happen to fall, 56 cards of Fleer on the wall, 56 cards of Fleer. 56 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happen to fall, 56 cards of Fleer on the wall, 55 cards of Fleer. 55 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happen to fall, 55 cards of Fleer on the wall, 55 cards of Fleer on the wall, 55 cards of Fleer. If those cards should happen to fall, 54 cards of Fleer on the wall, 54 cards of Fleer, 54 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happen to fall, 53 cards of Fleer on the wall, 53 cards of Fleer, 53 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happen to fall, 52 cards of Fleer on the wall, 52 cards of Fleer, 52 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happen to fall, 51 cards of Fleer on the wall, 51 cards of Fleer. 51 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happen to fall, 50 cards of Fleer on the wall, 50 cards of Fleer. 50 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happened to fall, 49 cards of Fleer on the wall, 48 cards of Fleer, 48 clouds of fear. If one of those cards happened to fall, 57 cards of Fleer on the wall. Oh, it goes 57 cards of Fleer on the wall, 57 cards of Fleer. One of those cards happened to fall, 57 cards of clear on the wall, 56. Am I messing up? 56 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happened to fall, 56 cards of Fleer on the wall, 55 cards of Fleer. 55 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happened to fall, 54 cards of Fleer on the wall, 54 clouds of fear. 54 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happened to fall, 53 cards of Fleer on the wall, 53 cards of Fleer. 53 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happened to fall, 52 cards of Fleer on the wall, 52 cards of Fleer. 52 clouds of fear. If one of those cards happened to fall, 50 cards of Fleer on the wall. I feel like I did this already. 50 cards of Fleer on the wall, 50 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happened to fall, 49 cards of Fleer on the wall, 49 clouds of fear. 49 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happened to fall, 48 cards of Fleer on the wall, 48 cards of Fleer. 48 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happened to fall, 47 cards of Fleer on the wall, 46 cards of Fleer. 46 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happened to fall, 46 cards of Fleer on the wall, 46 cards of Fleer. 46 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happened to fall, 45 cards of Fleer on the wall, 45 cards of Fleer on the wall, 45 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happened to fall, 44 cards of Fleer on the wall, 44 cards of Fleer. Hope I have enough cards. 44 cards of Fleer. If 43 cards, if one of those cards happened to fall, 43 cards of Fleer on the wall. 43 cards of Fleer. 42 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happened to fall, 42 cards of Fleer on the wall, 42 cards of Fleer. 42 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happened to fall, 41 cards of Fleer on the wall, 41 cards of Fleer. 41 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happened to fall, 40 cards of Fleer on the wall, 40 cards of Fleer. 40 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happened to fall, 39 cards of Fleer on the wall, 39 cards of Fleer. 39 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happened to fall, 38 cards of Fleer on the wall, 38 cards of Fleer. 38 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happened to fall, 37 cards of Fleer on the wall, 37 cards of Fleer. 37 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happened to fall, 46 cards of Fleer on the wall, 46 cards of Fleer. 46 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happened to fall, 45 cards of Fleer on the wall, 44 cards of Fleer, 44 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happened to fall, 43 cards of Fleer on the wall, 42 cards of Fleer. 42 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happened to fall, 41 cards of Fleer on the wall, 41 cards of Fleer. 41 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happened to fall, 41 cards of Fleer on the wall, 40 cards of Fleer. 40 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happened to fall, 40 cards of Fleer on the wall, 39 cards of Fleer. 39 cards of Fleer. If one of those calls happened to fall, 38 cards of Fleer on the wall, 38 cards of Fleer. 38 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happened to fall, 37 cards of Fleer on the wall, 37 cards of Fleer. 37 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happened to fall, 36 cards of Fleer on the wall, 36 cards of Fleer. 36 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happened to fall, 35 cards of Fleer on the wall, 35 cards of Fleer. 35 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happened to fall, 34 cards of Fleer on the wall, 34 cards of Fleer. 34 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happened to fall, 34 cards of Fleer on the wall, 30, I don't have enough cards, or at least variety, 34 cards of Fleer. 34 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happen to fall, 33 cards of Fleer on the wall. 33 cards of Fleer. 33 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happen to fall, 32 cards of Fleer on the wall. 32 cards of Fleer. 32 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happen to fall, 31 cards of Fleer on the wall. 31 cards of Fleer on the wall. 31 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happen to fall, 30 cards of Fleer on the wall. 30 cards of Fleer on the wall. 30 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happen to fall, 30 cards of Fleer on the wall. 29 cards of Fleer on the wall. 29 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happen to fall, 29 cards of Fleer on the wall. 28 cards of Fleer on the wall. Am I doing something wrong? 28 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happen to fall, 27 cards of Fleer on the wall. 27 cards of Fleer. 27 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happen to fall, 26 cards of Fleer on the wall. 26 cards of Fleer. 26 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happen to fall, 25 cards of Fleer on the wall. 25 cards of Fleer. 25 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happen to fall, 24 cards of Fleer on the wall. 24 cards of Fleer. 24 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happen to fall, 23 cards of Fleer on the wall. 23 cards of Fleer. 23 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happen to fall, 22 cards of Fleer on the wall. 22 cards of Fleer. 22 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happen to fall, 21 cards of Fleer on the wall. 21 cards of Fleer. 21 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happen to fall, 20 cards of Fleer on the wall. We're almost there, guys. 20 cards of Fleer. 20 cards of Fleer. 20 cards of Fleer. If one card falls down, you don't get down to the boogie. I'm at 20 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happen to fall, 19 cards of Fleer on the wall. 19 cards of Fleer. 19 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happen to fall, 18 cards of Fleer on the wall. 18 cards of Fleer. 18 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happen to fall, 70 cards of Fleer on the wall. 70 cards of Fleer. 17 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happen to fall, 16 cards of Fleer on the wall. 16 cards of Fleer. 16 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happen to fall, 15 cards of Fleer on the wall. Man, we're so close. 15 cards of Fleer on the wall. 15 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happen to fall, 14 cards of Fleer on the wall. 14 cards of Fleer. 14 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happen to fall, 13 cards of Fleer on the wall. 13 cards of Fleer. 13 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happen to fall, 12 cards of Fleer on the wall. 12 cards of Fleer on the wall. 12 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happen to fall, 11 cards of Fleer on the wall. 11 cards of Fleer on the wall. 11 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happen to fall, 10 cards of Fleer on the wall. 10 cards of Fleer on the wall. 10 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happen to fall, 8 Fleer cards left on the wall. All right, 8 Fleer cards. What is it? Man, I'm lost. 8 Fleer cards on the wall. 8 Fleer cards on the wall. If one of those cards happen to fall, be 7 cards of Fleer on the wall. 7 cards of Fleer. 7 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards should fall off the wall, we got 6 cards of Fleer on the wall. 6 cards of Fleer on the wall. 6 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards should happen to fall, 5 cards of Fleer on the wall. 5 cards of Fleer on the wall. 5 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards should happen to fall, 4 cards of Fleer. 4 cards of Fleer on the wall. 4 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards should happen to fall, 3 cards of Fleer on the wall. That one has a number. So 3 cards of Fleer on the wall. 3 cards of Fleer. If one of those cards happen to fall, you got 2 cards of Fleer on the wall. 2 cards of Fleer on the wall. 2 cards of Fleer. You take one down. If one falls down, how many cards of Fleer do you have? Well, I'm going to go to the last one in here. Have 1 card of Fleer. 1 card of Fleer on the wall. 1 card of Fleer. If that card falls down, if that Fleer card falls down, what's left? There's no cards of Fleer on the wall. That's it, guys. Let me see how long this was. 20 minutes. All right. Love the hobby, people. Just keep collecting baseball cards forever, I say. Man, if you watch this whole thing, you are a stud. Muffin.